Mount Everest, standing at 29,032 feet, is the tallest mountain on Earth. It is a symbol of human ambition and adventure. But it is also known as the world's highest graveyard. For every climber who reaches the summit, there are many who never return. Over the decades, storms, avalanches, earthquakes, and extreme cold have taken countless lives. Today, we look at 6 of the deadliest disasters in Everest's history. 1974, the French avalanche tragedy. In September 1974, a French expedition attempted the extremely dangerous west ridge of Everest. The climbers and their Sherpa team set up camp high on the mountain. But one night, disaster struck. A massive avalanche thundered down, burying the camp beneath tons of ice and snow. Expedition leader Gérard Devoisseau, along with several Sherpas, lost their lives. Rescue was impossible in such harsh conditions. This tragedy served as a reminder that even the strongest climbers are powerless against nature's fury. 1970, Khumbu Icefall disaster. In 1970, Japanese climber Yuichiro Miura organized an ambitious expedition. His dream was not just to climb Everest, but to ski down its slopes. But the expedition was struck by tragedy while passing through the Khumbu Icefall. The icefall is one of the most dangerous parts of the mountain, filled with towering ice blocks and unstable seracs. Suddenly, a massive chunk of ice collapsed, triggering an avalanche. 6 Sherpas were killed instantly. Although Miura survived and went on to ski part of the mountain, the disaster left a dark shadow over the expedition, showing once again that Sherpas face the greatest risks while supporting foreign climbers. 1922, the British expedition avalanche. In 1922, the British launched one of the earliest attempts to conquer Everest. On June 7, as climbers pushed toward the summit, they triggered a huge avalanche on the north side of the mountain. 7 Nepali porters, tasked with carrying loads for the climbers, were swept away and buried alive. This was the first major climbing tragedy on Everest, and it shocked the world. Newspapers called Everest a killer mountain. But instead of discouraging future attempts, the tragedy fueled an obsession to reach the top of the world. 1996, the Everest storm disaster. The most infamous disaster came in May 1996. Several commercial expeditions were attempting the summit when a powerful blizzard struck the upper slopes. Winds exceeded 70 miles per hour, and temperatures plummeted far below freezing. Dozens of climbers became stranded in the death zone, where oxygen is scarce and survival depends on every minute. Among the dead were legendary guides Rob Hall from New Zealand and Scott Fisher from the United States. Rob Hall's final radio calls, as he spoke to his pregnant wife from near the summit, became one of the most haunting stories in mountaineering history. By the end of the storm, 8 climbers had lost their lives. The 1996 disaster forced the climbing community to question the dangers of commercial expeditions and the limits of human survival at extreme altitude. 2014, Khumbu Icefall avalanche. On April 18, 2014, tragedy struck again in the Khumbu Icefall. A massive ice serac, towering above the climbers' route, suddenly collapsed. An avalanche of ice and snow roared down the slope, burying the Sherpas working on the route. 16 Sherpas were killed in an instant. It was the deadliest accident Everest had ever seen at that time. The Sherpa community went on strike after the disaster, demanding better pay, insurance, and safety measures. For Nepal, this was not only a climbing accident but also a national tragedy. 2015, the earthquake disaster. 1 year later, on April 25, 2015, Nepal was struck by a devastating 7.8 magnitude earthquake. On Mount Everest, the quake unleashed a massive avalanche that swept through base camp. Climbers described it as a wall of snow and ice that roared down without warning. Tents, equipment, and people were buried under the avalanche. By the end, more than 22 lives were lost at base camp, while many others were injured. Helicopters carried survivors away in one of the largest mountain rescues in history. The earthquake and its aftermath made the 2015 tragedy the deadliest disaster ever recorded on Everest. Ending. From the earliest expeditions to modern commercial climbs, Everest has claimed lives in every decade. These disasters are reminders that the mountain is not just a place of adventure, but also a place of mourning. For those who attempt to climb it, the dream of standing on the roof of the world comes with the highest possible risks.